ladies?
Awesome. That was scary.
Just beautiful. Thank you so much.
Dude, thank you for sharing your stomping grounds. Dude, that's a gift. Thank you.
That was probably the best race I've ever experienced. In terms of such joy, it was stunning, and it was awesome. Thank you so much.
I got to the point where I just could not even breathe.
The views are stunning. It's epic. I loved it. It was my first time in a scree field, and I'm afraid of heights. So I was taking videos and taking pictures, and I'll make sure I'm careful what I post and don't post.
Some choice words came out of your mouth?
Yeah. Probably didn't go as planned, but I bet that's everybody's story. I really didn't know if I was going to finish this race. It's just so tough. Everything up until Lime High Pass is actually pretty easy, and then the race starts. And I think that's important for people to know. Allow yourself to take 7 hours to get to Lime High Pass if you need to, and then save yourself, because the scree field, it just tears up your ankles. It's stunning, but you really need to have something in your tank or you're gonna blow up. I am happy now that it's probably 7,000 feet and I'm not nauseous. The combination of the heat and the altitude just made me feel really bad. It's a tough course. It's a tough course no matter who you are.
But you kept going, why?
I don't give up. I don't know why. And it's the spirit of ultra running to me, and if you can get through those extremely tough lows and then get out of them, you can do anything.
The first memory that I have of going into Cowbone Lake was with the Dukes, and all I remember is how rough the road was.
So Cowbone Lake is actually visible from the course.
From a couple of spots.
From a couple
you have
of
to kind of
spots.
come off the trail onto the Montana side, and you can look
straight down into it. Yeah. So, and I remember Dad had some type of a table or something in the back of the pickup that he was taking up to camp, and so there was nowhere to sit. So I basically it was tied down, so I hung onto the end of it on my stomach and just held on for dear life.
The road was just as rough as could be. I don't know. Maybe I was 4 or 5 years old, and there
I must have been 6 or 7. Back in those days, those pickups were so had such stiff suspension. I mean, we were bouncing all over the place.
Old blue Chevy pickup, if I remember right.
So that would have took us up. Pratt Creek is where we accessed Goldstone Aid Station. That's my very first memory too of as a kid going up and fishing. But since then, from that time forward, since we left salmon, we spent a lot of time up in there fishing in those lakes. At least 5-6 times every summer we'd go up there. We'd basically park up there by Yonke Lake Aid Station, and we could actually hike right down and boulder on down to Yonke Lake and fish Yonke Lake.
Most of the time it was just a day trip. We'd leave, get up early Saturday morning, load up, hike into them, drop down into the Montana side, fish all day long, and then usually around dusk start hiking out of there. So yeah,
we'd always get home late at night.
Our dad Jim was probably our biggest influence in getting to know that area. He loved taking us out and showing us the country that he's always known. I remember one time we were hiking out of Dark Horse Lake. So there's Cowbone and Dark Horse. They're kind of right close to each other.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden a storm blew in. It was probably late July, early August. And all of a sudden it started to rain, and we weren't necessarily prepared for the rain. And so on our hike between Cowbone and Dark Horse, the lightning just come in and it was popping all around us. And we actually had to go over underneath of a cliff in a little cave-like structure, and all of a sudden one big old pop of some lightning happened, and you could just see it. It was about 200 yards away, and it hit this tree, and it just exploded like toothpicks. I was actually kind of scared because I was that young, but I do remember that happening.
One of the things that makes the race so special to us is the fact that it gives us an excuse to be up in those mountains again. I don't think without the Beaverhead race, we would be up there in those mountains even close to as much. I don't think I'd even go up there. There'd be no reason to go up there. Maybe you, because you live up there, but for me, that gives me an opportunity to go up there every year and just, not only have the excitement of the race itself and looking forward to people coming and enjoying those mountains, but also just to remember what it used to be like and just think about our, where we came from. That's always very special to me.
You and I kind of were thinking about maybe putting together a race up there. I can't remember where it was, if it was.
It was
on
either after, because you crewed me both at the 2013 Western States and at the Bear the same year. So it was after one of those races on the way home.
We got talking about how awesome it would be because of how beautiful those two races are, but the scenery that we envisioned as young kids and what that terrain could be like for others to be able to see is what I think turned us on to saying we need to start a race here.
Like mid to late September, you and I decided we're going to scout the course. So we did the first half, the 100K, one weekend, and the following weekend I came back and we did the rest of it.
We started off about 3 in the morning because we weren't exactly sure how long. It was you and Ashley and I.
So you remember what happened with all the elk and stuff?
Yeah, we were going through the trees and all of a sudden we started seeing eyeballs right on top. It was kind of between.
It freaked me out.
Yeah.
A headlamp. We'd never been there before.
Yeah.
We had no idea what the trail looked like. And you're going up the trail and all of a sudden you see eyeballs everywhere and you're like, what in the heck is going on? Then you're crashing through the trees.
They were even bugling. It was in September, so the elk were in the rut, and yeah, it was fun, except for the latter part of the day when I bonked.
This race means a lot to us, not just because we like, we just want to be race directors.
It's not just the event.
It's not just the event. It means something to us. We want people to come and experience the location. I remember Mom telling somebody last summer that she was glad that we had the race because it was an excuse for our entire family to get together. It almost like forced a family reunion. I can't speak for all of our siblings, but I think they really enjoy being together during this time and just having fun together and helping with the race. Our family members are a great help. They help at the finish line. They help with us organizing our aid station supplies and our trailer, getting things unloaded, organized, making and fixing flagging for the course, even our kids getting involved in many of those types of things. And so that's greatly appreciated, but just so much fun to be together as a family. And it's like an annual family reunion. It's great. One of the things I really love about this race and being up in these mountains is that we have the chance to go up in the mountains almost on a daily basis. We haul so much water into aid stations, particularly Goldstone, Yankee Lake, Bohannon Creek. We haul up there over 350 gallons of water, and it takes several trips. But it's just being up there, whether we're on foot marking the course, on four-wheelers hauling water, it's just a wonderful experience to smell the pine trees and just be up there to look at the views. It doesn't get any better than that. And the whole build up to the race during race preparation week is absolutely awesome, and I just love it. It's one of my favorite times of year. It's like Christmas in the summertime. It's a place that unless you're going there for a reason, you never go there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not on a major freeway. There's got to be a reason that you're going up to that area for you to be there.
That's right.
The fact that people actually pay and come into town and stay in the hotels and use the restaurants and salmon, it means a lot to the people who live there, because tourism is a big part of the economy there. It allows it to thrive as the city and town is today.
And maybe I'm a little partial because I live in Salmon and I know most all the people there, but those people that come and run the aid stations have grown to love the sport of ultra running. There's not one of them that had ever seen or even really been around the ultra community whatsoever. It's very inspiring to them. In fact, we had our hometown cross-country meet in Salmon here this past week, and I was talking to some of the junior high girls that were running that just got done with their race, and I said, here pretty soon, and I pointed up to the Beaverheads. I said, pretty soon, it might be in 10 years, you guys might be running across that and running the Beaverhead. And they said, oh, it's going to be before that.
And there's also, I've noticed, quite a few people from Salmon that have come up and ran the race.
Which they never would have. There, we've had probably more than 15 people from Salmon, people who have never ran in their lives will do the 55K because they know that if they can hike that thing at a fast pace, and they've done it. I mean, we've had a dentist in town that never has done anything like that. They like hunting, but have never participated in that. We've had a couple of people from the hospital, a nurse there that she comes up every single year and has been there and has brought, in fact, her 2 children last year, Linda Lamy, brought both of her kids and participated in it and changed their lives for forever with, just with that accomplishment. It makes it hard to keep our aid station workers, because when they are inspired by the runners, they're like, I want to do that next year. So that's been a good thing. We're like, yeah, we want you to run that.
I think between 2016 and this year, we lost probably half of our aid station workers because they all decided to run it instead of being aid stations, which is great. But we couldn't do the race without the volunteers, and we couldn't do the race without people coming to the race. Yeah. I think it's important to remember that people who come run races are critical to the community and the sport, because we can't afford to put the races on because it costs money if people aren't willing to come and pay to do it. Yeah. So we're very grateful for those who travel from very far distances to come and run the race, and we hope it's worthwhile when they do come. So we do everything we can to prepare the race so that they have a good experience.
One of the things I like about that course is it's aesthetically pleasing. It's a point-to-point. So I really like the fact that you're running on the Continental Divide Trail, right on the border of Idaho and Montana, kind of looking into Montana, and also the technical aspect of that course. So it gets harder in the second half. You're at pretty high altitude, hovering around 9,000 to 10,000 feet, and then you have a really technical 5K on the ridgeline off trail. So that was intriguing to me. I always like really technical hard courses. So my tip or strategy for this race would be to go out a little easier than you think you should, because you get higher and higher throughout the race, and you finish at a pretty solid and stay at a pretty solid altitude, 9,000 or 10,000 feet. And it gets really technical, so you need something in the tank for that section, and that last downhill is pretty gnarly, so have some good tread on your shoes.
Well, one thing I like to say about the race is it's challenging, but it's different, because there's very few races out there that you're running basically the ridge of a mountain almost the entire way. And the ridges go up and down, so there's some up and down in the race, but you're always on basically the ridge of the mountain range until you drop off. Of course, the last 8 miles or so, you drop off and hit the finish line. I always tell people that the 100K is like it only feels like 100 miles because you're running at elevation. You're going to be probably averaging about 8,500 feet for most of the time, and that wears on you.
It does. That first 28 miles is real runnable, and it's real deceiving, and then when you get to that midpoint, and then all of a sudden you're in your mind you're feeling it physically, also a little bit mentally, and then all of a sudden you're starting to look into the future, what's ahead of me.
And it's going to be 4 times as hard.
Yeah.
One suggestion I give to runners all the time in the pre-race meeting is I tell them to make sure they take some time to stop and look around. I think some of the prettiest views as you get up on the higher elevations in the second half is looking back down the course where you came from.
So take time, look around, enjoy the views that are up there.
Road running is very much focused on speed, whereas trail running is the endurance. Trail running is the climb, the elevation, the technicality of the trail, and things that you get to see and that you would never see if you were not out there on foot for hours and hours on end. These things that you can't drive to, and just the views that you have no words to describe, like this.
I like to run ultra races because of the people I get to be around. I mean, you have to be pretty self-motivated and driven to do this sport. So with that comes some pretty motivated people. I mean, they spend so much time training and pursuing this sport and trying to reach their own personal goals. And yet, out on the trail during a competition, they will help other competitors. They'll give up their own personal goals just to help somebody else, and that's special. It's a special tribe and it's a special community, and I'm just super proud to be part of it.
I choose to run because I started when I was 100 pounds heavier than I currently am. So I just wanted to get healthy. I got started in ultras when I was a year into running, and I significantly had lost a lot of weight at that point. And I didn't even know trails or ultra was a thing, but I went on a trail race and I really liked it. And you know, Lovely Ultra sign up, that's where I ended up. So I've signed up for a lot of them. I enjoy the challenge it provides. It really tests people to their limit. This will be my third 50K, the Beaverhead. I just really enjoy the challenge each of these ultras I do provides. Running in the mountains, I just think it provides so much freedom, and especially as a mom, it allows you to just turn your brain off and to focus on your adventure and having adventure in your life.
I don't run ultra marathons. Yeah, so a friend of mine, Val, who used to crew for me on the Tevis, she was always intrigued that I told her I try to run 10 to 20% of my endurance rides with my horse. I think it was 2005 was the 50th anniversary of the Tevis, and they had runners coming through. And she was waiting at the vet check at Forest Hill for me and to come, and she saw these runners and she was like, who are these people, you know? And they're, oh, these guys are the guys that do the ultra, they run this, you know, they have the Western States run, and these guys ran it. And so she'd been thinking that she wanted to do endurance riding with horses. She really liked running. She quit running with the horse and just started doing ultras. So she called me last fall and said, I want to do a race in Idaho, you know, will you do one with me? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And she was thinking about this one. And so I looked at the video and I went, oh my gosh, that is so gorgeous, beautiful. Yeah, I'll do that with you. And she goes, you won't even need to train, you'll be fine.
When I grew up, I really didn't do any running, no track or cross country or anything like that. And I did enjoy the outdoors, but really didn't get exposed to running until 4 years ago. I actually filmed a race that was the first time I'd ever been exposed to ultra running at all. I mean, I'd heard stories about people running long distances, and it just sounded crazy because I didn't run at all. I mean, there was no context there at all. But before that race, we went and watched a movie about ultra running. It's called Unbreakable, and it's basically 4 incredible athlete ultra runners battling it out for the finish on the Western States 100, and it just blew me away. I mean, to know that somebody is possible of being able to do something like that, and still having the same kind of bond of endurance that I'd never really seen before. And then I got to see it firsthand on a smaller scale on a 50K race where it turned into a mud bath. The weather was cold and then it was warm, and then there was snow and rain and hail, and people were plodding through the mud and just running up and down these hills, and they had a smile on their face. It really got me thinking of this. This seems like something I want to try. It seems like a good challenge for me. And then through that race, I'd heard about the book Born to Run, and once I read that, it was a downhill slide from there.
There's a lot of reasons why I run in the mountains, and I'm about to find out tomorrow my reason for running ultras. This will be the longest distance I've ever done, and I'm so psyched about it. And being in the mountains helps me to feel connected to something bigger than myself, helps me connect with myself, and it helps me spend precious time with people that I love. So Michelle and I are far away, so being able to run in the mountains together here is really a gift.
I think running in the mountains for me it puts you in the moment, and so everything else just kind of falls away. And that's what I love about it. It's being around people that share the same interests and just getting to see creation. It's just so gorgeous out there. I just love it.
There's lots of reasons that I run ultras. About 6 years ago I started running. I picked out my first race was a marathon because I thought that's the biggest there was. Ran the marathon, didn't kill me. I was kind of surprised, so I decided, well, let's see if there's anything bigger out there. And the first ultra I ran was a 40-mile. It's called the Bone and Back over in Idaho Falls. It's kind of a popular race. The River of No Return was the next year, and so we ran that the first year, him and I loved it. It was hard and challenging, and my muscles hurt and I hurt and it ached, but I finished it, and it was a good feeling to know that you went that far in the mountains. I like to be able to finish a race. I've not been in a race yet that I haven't finished. Could happen, but I don't want it to happen. Ann Trayson is a super big time ultra runner. She's won all the women's races that she ever ran, and she was awesome. And she says, once you get to a certain point of pain, it doesn't get any worse. And I read that in one of her stories or books or somewhere. I got that from her, and when I got to where I thought I couldn't go anymore, if you just keep going, you can eventually go further than you ever thought you could. I have 7 children. My wife and I have been married to be 20 years this January. I like them to be able to see their dad doing something that's hard, but he sticks with it and finishes it. And I always have him at the finish line. That is my biggest draw to finish. Somebody told me you can be driven by fear or drawn by a dream. And that's my dream, to meet my family at the finish line of these ultras. That's what keeps me going.
We chose to do Beaverhead because we had heard a lot of good things about the race from some people who have done it in the past, starting from the way that it was organized, the terrain, that there was a lot of versatility, that you're exposed and you're in trees and you have to hike, the aid stations, just the quality of the people that are a part of this race. And neither of us have been to Idaho, so this is our first day in Idaho. I'm excited about the 6-mile descent at the end.
I'm excited for the views, just to be on top and just to look over and just enjoy. And because a lot of people don't get this opportunity, so I'm just super thankful for it.
When you have both a good race director and a good course, you got a great race. And that's what Beaverhead is. The course, oh my gosh, you got the Continental Divide, big mountains, big views, just a spectacular part of the country that, most of us would really never visit if not for a race.
So the first time I decided to run Beaverhead was because my crazy friend Stephanie said, you should run a Beaverhead with me, and I said, okay. I decided to come back because Beaverhead is a very unique race. It's got a lot of technicality to it, but it is just beautiful beyond description. So it's one of those that you just kind of have to put on the list to do, and it's just very different than anything else that you're ever going to do.
It just sounded really adventurous. I mean, I love rock climbing, bouldering, all that kind of stuff, and just to tie in, higher mountain elevation along with running and scrambling, and just that really is thrilling to me.
Have you ever heard of the Continental Divide Trail? I've heard of that my whole life, but man, you'll run a race on the Continental Divide. Your right foot, the water goes east. Your left foot, the water goes to the west coast of the United States of America, the greatest country on earth. I love that thought, just that I'm dripping sweat is going to go one way or the other. You never know, wherever it lands.
I'm just here finishing up my packing, getting ready to leave town to head over to Salmon, Idaho to run the Beaverhead Endurance Run 55K. This is going to be my second time running it, so I kind of know what I'm up against, and I'm hoping that I can use the little bit of course knowledge that I have to my advantage to hopefully get a PR this year.
Hear the Beaverhead song. It's the Beaverhead song.
You always knew that you'd be the one to work one day on play.
First stop on our way up to Beaverhead, here with Bill.
Hello.
He's driving us along, and we're stopping at the Pulse Fitness, pick up some last minute items for the race. Great people over here. Go say hi to Holly. Well, I don't know if Holly will be here. She's gonna be up there.
Holly is going to be here.
We are headed out for Salmon, Idaho. Wow, my nerves are so real. I'm so nervous about this race, so I am just hoping for a good time tomorrow, and I can't wait to film the Beaverhead. Yay!
I didn't sign a photo release.
You're gonna. Alright, we're heading to Beaverhead. We have a Tacoma full of people. It's gonna be a fun 6-hour drive. Okay, we made it to Salmon. We are in full-on Beaverhead prep mode. Totally getting off our feet, relaxing, saving energy. Go to the packet pickup a little bit later, but for now it's just relax and wait.
I was just talking to a few people in there that are helping get ready for the race, and this is the longest mountain run I've done, and I am a little nervous about it. And with the altitude and the distance combination, as well as the mountains, and as they said, the longer you go, the harder it gets physically, as far as just the trail, in addition to just distance. So I think I'm as ready as I'm going to be, and my goal is to keep a positive attitude and to just work my plan.
At Century 2 Campground, we have arrived, we had dinner, we already did the race meeting, so thank you, David. You're being such an awesome race director, super appreciate it. It was a great meeting. It's probably my biggest ultra I've done. It's so crazy. Usually there's like only 30 or 40 people at the start line, so there's like 100, or he said close to 200 for the 55K. That's so crazy.
Heidi, what are you doing?
Well, I'm about to let you in on a fun hack. Black & Decker car buffer and muscle massager. I'm not kidding, this is the real deal. You will thank me, believe me. So I got the car buffer, got the hat that I won at the raffle tonight. We're off to a good start. I don't even have to run tomorrow. I'm already a winner. And we've got our selection of
wowza,
well-marketed fuel for tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, a little Ensure, a little gel, Annie's fruit snacks, and you can't go wrong. So here we go.
And the trash bag is for,
you know, cold, precip, picking up others' litter that they might throw along the way. So, yeah.
I am about to run 62 miles. So going over to the bus where they're going to be taking us up to the start. And I've said my prayers. I do not even want to attempt this on my own power.
Well, good morning. Dressed and ready. Almost like 20-25 minutes. I'll go walk over to the bus shuttle. So, bread and bushy tails. So, here we go.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have fun! Enjoy yourselves!
I'm excited about this. This is fun.
It's been 1.5 hours. 12.5K. Moving too fast, honestly. We're moving at faster than 6 minutes per kilometer, which is not really smart. We're gonna pay for that later. But the scenery is beautiful.
All right, we're up here at the top of the world, running on the trail. And to my right, it flows to the Atlantic Ocean. To my left, it flows to the Pacific Ocean. And we're on the top of the Continental Divide. We're at the second aid station. I'm here with Sarah.
It's snack time!
And we're hanging out here at about 9,500. It's work. It was work climbing up this hill.
All right, buddy, where are we at?
I have no idea. 30 something, 35?
35 kilometers.
Sweet.
So, how do you feel?
Actually, I feel pretty good.
You gonna make it?
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes.
Good.
But I feel better than I did just before that aid station.
Yeah.
Got
Me
a couple
too.
hot spots.
Hot spots on your feet?
Yeah, well, that might have something to do with buying brand new shoes and then
Yeah.
only running 2.5K in them before.
Yeah, bad idea. Anti-tip number 1, don't run in new shoes.
Yeah.
I think we're both breaking that rule today.
I think so, yeah. It's all good, it's worked in the past.
Yeah, it's just this altitude. I live at sea level, so this altitude's a killer, but we're having fun.
All right. I'm at like 22.5, 23 miles. And the ups going up the hills. I feel like I'm dying. I feel like I've done 50 miles already. I go up, my heart rate goes up. I sweat like a bugger. And then going down, I just don't have any energy. This is work, especially at this altitude. I think the altitude's kicking my butt. Coming down a hill, at the egg, and they have medical there, and I had this device that can check my heart rate and oxygen levels, and my oxygen levels were way down, and my heart rate to try to compensate was way up. So altitude sickness it is, and it wasn't getting any better after sitting there. So, and I felt like if I wasn't able to get any more energy, and of course you need oxygen to get the energy, you can eat everything you want, and you do everything right that you want, but if the oxygen levels are off, it's not going to work. As you can tell, even though I'm disappointed that I had to call the race, and I'm disappointed that I didn't get to see the views on the second half of the course, I am still happy. I'm glad that I did it, and hopefully I can learn from this and figure out what can be done differently or better, and just go from there. And we'll try it again later. Next year I'll probably try to do the 50K, 55K, and then maybe the 100K the year after that, just to make sure that I can get it done.
All right. You may be able to see in the back that I just got out of the drop bag station. Very thankful for the great volunteers there. It's getting warm. I'm sweating a lot. I want to get in the cover of the trees. That would be nice.
Here we are, taking care of business before the start. Walk down the line here.
Ready for this?
Yes. It's too late not to be, right?
Have you ever had anyone just stay on the bus and go back?
Haven't yet.
And there's no bushes to pee behind either.
Oh, come on.
You don't know whose vehicle to trust, right?
Exactly.
Needs to make a documentary.
I didn't quite get it. Okay, couple of extra announcements I didn't announce yesterday regarding course marking.
This first aid station.
Make sure this first aid station do a good job making sure they check you in or out and got your number, because you're all going to go flying through there within.
Scream!
Okay, so be nice to them.
All right, have fun, you guys.
Got a nice little flat section in here, kind of. We're about a little over 5 miles in. Feeling pretty good so far.
It is really hot, to me at least. And people are passing me now because my stomach's not feeling good. I'm hitting my second wall. Whew, but as we know, walls, they come and go. They're built to be broken down. Was that inspiring? That was really stupid, actually. But hopefully I'll get through this rough spot pretty soon. Because it's bad. I don't want to eat. It's hot and we're high. But we're having fun. Hello.
Hello. Hey, welcome to Cutout. Hello.
We are at Cutout.
Here we are at Cutout.
Yeah, I feel pretty much cut out. And it's a bit warm out, a bit toasty. But these guys have bacon here, which is amazing. So, well done to this aid station.
Gotta say, you guys, you have fabulous aid stations. I was pretty impressed with some bacon, so you're already winning. So, thus far, a very beautiful course. Some climbing, but nothing too terrible yet. I'm sure it's coming, so keep you updated. Up this hill, came down that. It's starting to get pretty beautiful right now. Packing the crew there.
We are starting one of those brutal climbs, one of the many. We are a little over 14 miles, just over 9,000 feet.
Just hit our first big climb here with my trail buddy Ian. How are you feeling, Ian?
Oh, I'm feeling good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Enjoying this cloud cover. Beautiful.
The rain they put into the course was awesome.
Yes, thank you for ordering the rain. Whoever did that. Best way to cool off. Right here.
They said the longer you go, the harder it gets.
All right, here we are fighting off cramps. One of the downsides of ultras. Bill up, sucking it up. About 3/4 of a mile from the second to last aid station, and Bill's fighting cramps. He's gonna make it though. Ultra running is fun.
I can't breathe.
Keep it stretched, breathe it out.
How do I see which way?
Just, you'll be fine. Bill, I'm making you a star. We've all been there.
I'm at the scree field. Honestly, not gonna lie, I'm terrified right now. I'm so scared of heights, and this is the one thing I've been dreading about this race. And unfortunately, it's the one time I'm alone on the race, so we're gonna do this. Better be girl panties on and deal. Alright, I'll let you know on the other side.
Holy Hannah, look at this. Just amazing.
Yeah.
Rugged, beautiful. Wow.
How gorgeous is this? This course is just mind-blowingly beautiful.
Okay, there's almost a trail. Sort of not. About as technical as it gets. Look at the snow in the corners up there that we're going. Just kind of try to go marker to marker. Guess I should watch where I'm going on this course. People picking their way down the talus. Amazing.
This is the part that is the hardest and longest 3 miles you'll ever do. It is something else.
Hello, I'm at kilometer 86, almost, and I am in the scree field, working my way through. I think I'm about halfway done, maybe a little more. But the hills are alive with music. For you viewing at home, I really wish you could be here to experience this with me. Check it out.
Feet in the sand with your head underwater, looking for a place to go. Open your eyes just to see what you're made of, everything you've ever known. Be the spark to the fire, just keep climbing higher. No one can shine like you. You could be flying like paper, but you'll never see it until you believe it's true. Climb over mountains, swim to the shore, see all the places you've never been before. Take every chance until you're through. Follow your dreams until they take you straight into the sun. Straight into the sun. Straight into the sun. Day after day, living life in the moment, fighting through the night alone. So out of place in a world cold and broken, feeling like you're miles from home. Be the spark to the fire, just keep climbing higher. No one can shine like you. You could be flying like paper, but you'll never see it until you believe it's true. Climb over mountains, swim to the shore, see all the places you've never been before. Take every chance until you're through. Follow your dreams until they take you straight into the sun. Straight into the sun. Straight into the sun.
Almost home. Out of the canyon, on my way.